So as Priya was mentioning, there have been rituals that have been passed down where like grandmothers were making these recipes in their kitchens with all of these natural ingredients like turmeric and honey and cucumber and coconut. And so we really wanted to bring those rituals to a modern consumer like you and I. Like, we don't have time to go into our kitchens and make these ourselves and like put it on. Like that would obviously be very, very amazing, but we don't have the time. But we can go online and we can buy a product and we can get it delivered. Hence why we created Aavrani. So our products are clean, they're all natural, they're vegan, our packaging is completely sustainable, it's made out of glass. And so currently we have 4 products that are in our ritual. I'm gonna just go through them really briefly. I know you all have the mask, so I'm excited for you all to try that. So our mask is made with turmeric, neem, and honey. It's really great for clearing your blemishes, brightening your skin, and then it's also really great for exfoliating. And then the next product we have in our ritual is our Balance Restoring Serum. It's made with cucumber, tea tree, and chamomile. And this is really great to tighten your pores, just brighten your face, balance redness that you have. It's really amazing for that. I have like a whole setup here. Like I'm gonna send a picture so you guys can all see what this looks like. The next product that we have is our moisturizer. This is made with coconut, rosehip oil, and shea nut butter. And so this is really great to nourish your skin and like basically hydrate, which is something that we all need. And the last product that we have is going to be our eye elixir. And this is really great for the dark circles that we were just talking about. This is made with sweet almond oil, rose water, and avocado. And it's really great for fine lines, dark circles, just brightening this like area that we all have trouble with. So those are the 4 products that we've launched with. And I'm really excited for you all to try the mask today that we're going to be doing. And the reason why we call our ritual, our skincare ritual, is because we don't really believe in routines. Routines are really mundane, they're so repetitive, and you're not really being mindful about it. And so we want to change that perception of a beauty routine into a beauty ritual, because rituals are really like intentional. You're being mindful about what you're doing and you're thinking about it versus just mindlessly doing something. So we want people to translate and sort of evolve the beauty industry to think about beauty more holistically. You have to be more intentional about it, because beauty isn't just physical products. It is basically everything that you do to like incorporate and bring into your body. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me and a little bit about our brand. I'm going to pass it off to Rita to tell you a little bit more about her and her company.
Thank you so much. You did have a quick question in the chat about neem. I don't know if you want to touch on that now before we dive in, or if you want to get to it a bit later on.
We can get to it a bit later on when I get into the mask, but it's basically a leaf. So I'll get into it like a little bit more, but I'll let you do your intro.
Great, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Aavrani, for this wonderful partnership, which I'll share more about. My name is Rita. I'm a former investment banker turned yoga and meditation teacher, and I now work as the head of mindfulness and strategy at Aduri, which is a budding meditation startup. So this is really the place where my skills and interests come together, and I couldn't be more thrilled to I say I work at the intersection of meditation and spreadsheets. So it's kind of a fun place to be. It's a very fun place to be. If you're not familiar with Aduri, we are creating a connected meditation system that helps make your meditation practice more engaging, so you actually want to stick with it. So it consists of a meditation cushion that uses gentle pulses to guide your breathing and focus, as well as all original content that lives in our app. So music, soundscapes, and guided meditation, as well as a community layer. So if Ankita's in New York, you're in Chicago, I happen to be in Atlanta right now, we can sync our cushions together and virtually. So you can think of us like the Peloton for meditation. Just want to say thank you again for being here, and it's always a pleasure to partner with Aavrani. We've done a couple of these mask and meditate events, and they have been really lovely for us as well as for everyone that's attended. So let's dive into it. Ankita, do you want to go through the agenda and then we'll move in?
Yeah, so I first just wanted to have like a little blanket statement for why we're connecting beauty and mindfulness. And that sort of goes back to what we were talking about like before about this concept of holistic beauty, where we're thinking about how your mind, body, and spirit, they all connect to make you a beautiful person. The food you eat, your movement, your energy, how you think, how you interact with other people, those are all things that like actually translate into how your skin looks. And people don't actually think about that. And we all are thinking about this right now. I'm sure you're like, oh yeah, it like does, like stress and anxiety, like that makes me like have more wrinkles. And if I eat really bad, then my skin gets like this. Like we all know that it's fairly obvious that there's a direct correlation, but what we're trying to do here is actually help instill some mindful practices that you can replicate at home into your beauty ritual. And so part of that will be with our mask and then incorporating that with meditation. So sort of a rundown of what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be asking you all a couple of questions via Zoom poll. Gina's going to be manning that. And then we are going to have a little fireside chat between Rita and I, just talking about beauty and mindfulness. And then Rita's going to guide us through a really beautiful and calming mask and meditate practice, which will be a really great way to close off your day. I'm sure you've all been to a ton of events today, so this will be a really great way to wind down. And then immediately after the event, you can, go wash your face, go in the shower, and then just head to bed. So this is a great wind down. So we're gonna go into Rita's gonna ask you a couple of questions.
First question is just on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you prioritize your mindfulness or wellness practices? I think the last word got cut off, so let us know. And it's very subjective, so you get to determine what prioritize means here. And then Gina, once you see a good number of responses come in, you can share the results and we can see where we are, same but different. It's so fun. We have almost 90 people here, so it's really going to be incredible to see what our audience looks like. And then we'll really see what everyone looks like with the mask. Oh, sorry.
A great question from the audience.
Yeah. Rita, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, 1 is I don't prioritize it. 10 is this is like next to my most important things in life, or my most important thing in life. Okay, we're getting some good responses from the chat too. Whenever you're ready, and we've got like a good majority in. I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm so interested. And I will be completely honest and share for myself before we get all the results in. I prioritize, like, someone that works in meditation and mindfulness, who has spent time teaching these practices, who is still currently learning and teaching. I prioritize probably like somewhere around a 7-ish, 7, 8. I've found that sometimes my mindfulness practices, like my mindfulness practice or my meditation practice, to be really specific, will become part of my like weekday routine, but it doesn't necessarily always translate into the weekend routine. And if I miss the window that I've carved out, we're gone for the rest of the day. That's just me. Okay, do we have the results in?
So because I launched the poll, I actually can't see. Did people vote? Let me see a thumbs up if you voted. Okay, I'll hit end.
And then Gina, you can share the results by just clicking that in the little pop out.
I see them. So it looks like most of us fall somewhere between like a 6, 7, 8 range, which is great. So good to hear. And then we have quite a few that are in like the 5-ish range or lower, and a couple of, self-proclaimed superstars in the 9, 10. So that's great. Let's see, should we dive into the next question? So just want to get a sense if anyone or if everyone has meditated before. It's just simple yes or no. It could be with an app, with a person, on your own, or if you're brand new. And then if you...
Yes. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I was going to say that
if you have...
Oh no. All right, sorry, Rita, go ahead.
Okay. No, this happens to us every time. If you do meditate, how often do you practice? Whether it's once a week, 1 to 3 times a week, and then 4 times a week or more should be the last one. Looking for honest answers here.
So the reason why we have like yes, no, and kinda is because you can have tried, but like maybe you don't know if that's, or if you've like really meditated, and that's kind of interesting for us to know as well. So that's why that's in there.
All right, do we have the results in?
Well, we'll just give them
93% of people voted, so I'm gonna close it.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
Wow.
I don't have the right for a drum roll. Amazing. Cool. Most people have meditated. I'm actually not surprised. And then looks like we're working on building the consistency. It's so hard. It is so hard. I am glad to see the transparency, and that's why we're all here. We're also learning. Okay. I think we've got, Ankita has one question for you, so she can just learn a little bit more about how you approach your beauty routine.
Yes. So the question is, which of these different products are currently part of your skincare ritual? And then you can pick which of these products apply. So you can like select all of them. Oh, oops! It's a single response.
Oh, yeah. Only select one. Should we
All right,
change
well
it to
then-
which is your favorite?
Well, then, yeah, then
Human
maybe
error.
pick which one that you can't live without, that you need to have.
Ugh. We're missing sunblock. I'm just kidding.
Well, you should always be wearing like sunscreen, so that shouldn't be on there. It should always be a part of your skincare ritual. And I wanted to just make one comment. It seemed that the majority of people meditated once a week, but with this practice that we're going to show you how to do, if you're masking 2 to 3 times a week, you can add in 2 to 3 times meditation during a week. So it's really not that hard. And I think that's the point of why we're doing this event, is so that you can find like 5 minutes to just do this, and there's no excuse. So
yeah, we'll chat a little. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if we want to end the Zoom poll, do we have, Kristen, do we have them in? Moisturizer. Okay. That makes sense. We obviously need to hydrate our skin.
Especially during these winter months.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to dive into our fireside chat. And Rita and I are basically just going to be going back and forth on 2 questions, but then we're also going to be opening it up to all of you in case you have any feedback that you want to share with us. Rita, do you want to ask the first question?
Yes, I would love to know, Ankita, as someone who's spent so much time in the beauty industry and has kind of, navigated your own routine and ritual, what does beauty mean to you?
So beauty means so many different things to different people, but being within the beauty space for so long, I think there's this perception that beauty is very physical, and it's very just like outward, and like what you see is what's beautiful, not how you feel. And I think that's something that I don't agree with, which is why I'm here at Aavrani and why we're trying to spread this message. And beauty is connected with so many different things. I mean, like I was just mentioning, it's what you're doing to take care of your body on the inside, which then like sort of like translates to your skin on the outside. And I love just saying this to people. It's like how you look and how you feel on the inside, it just translates to your skin, like radiating. Like you can see when someone walks into a room and like they're just like exuding this like radiance on their skin and this confidence. And that's probably because they like prioritize their wellness and they're taking care of their mental health, their nutrition, their fitness, and like all of these different things that incorporate to making a person beautiful. And yes, of course, they have amazing products that will supplement that. And so for me, that's what beauty really means. But that's just my perception. And that's what I was trying to say, is that beauty can mean something different to like every single person. I'd love to know, Rita, for you, what does beauty mean for you?
Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about a lot, actually. And I know, the world that we live in is so digital, and we take in so much information via our eyes. I've recently been just trying to notice like what it is that I find really beautiful. And when I stop and I could be going for a walk and I'll notice something and I'm like, wow, this is really incredible. This is really beautiful. And what it is that's striking to me about that experience, and kind of just understanding for myself what strikes me as being something beautiful. Because I think we all have these little moments, and as Ankita said, it's different for everyone. So I almost encourage you to notice those moments when you experience something that's beautiful, or when you see something that's beautiful, or you hear something that's beautiful. I think for me, most recently, like just yesterday or the day before, I paused and had this moment where I noticed the crescent moon that was rising in the sky. It was dusk, like the colors of the sky were changing. And it was just this moment in time. And the thing that made it so beautiful was, yes, we can talk about the inherent nature of the solar system and of the moon, but the thing that made it really beautiful was the moment of noticing, and it was the moment of appreciation. So somebody else may have not noticed that thing, and that doesn't change the fact that it exists in the form that it exists. It was simply me noticing it in the moment, like the moon relative to its surroundings, that made it really beautiful. And so maybe that's an unconventional definition, or what a meditation teacher would say if asked this question. But I think there's something to like noticing really what you've noticed. And for me, that is like a little bit more of a tangible example. So I just encourage you to notice what strikes you as being something lovely, as being something beautiful, and see what happens. And then maybe you'll notice like, wow, my lips look great today, or like this, like the lack of humidity in the air. It's freezing outside. There's no humidity in the air, and like my hair looks great. Or maybe you had a great meal recently, or a nice conversation with a friend, and you might begin to see those things show up in other ways. So the body is form and organic matter, and it really doesn't lie. So tuning your attention and looking for what you're looking at is just part of the practice and can be part of the experience. So I think we want to open up the chat a little bit now. Ankita, I'll pass it back over to you.
Yeah, something that we were talking about before was just what are struggles that people face when it comes to maintaining your beauty rituals or your wellness rituals. And I'd love for you all to write what are some of your struggles that you face when it comes to just your beauty like rituals and like just maintaining your, I guess, overall well-being and your wellness. Yeah, exactly. I'm starting to see some comments there. For me, the three biggest struggles are, time, budget, and like resources and like information, I guess, education. Like just making time in my day to actually stop and think about like the things that I need to do, especially when it comes to my, like routine, like just my ritual, like at night, like before I go to bed, if I'm really tired, like not wanting to wash my face, or just even budget, like thinking about, where I want to prioritize my spending. That can also be a struggle because obviously buying skincare or just other wellness things are not like cheap, but they are, I guess, an investment for you to care about yourself. And the last thing is education. There is an abundance of brands out there and just like information about skincare products. It's so overwhelming to like navigate through that. And Rita and I were talking about this too, about like getting into a black hole of just like research and like trying to find all these things. And I'm sure you all can relate to that. So
yeah, it's like how many tabs can you have open researching like what vitamin C serum you're going to try? And then, will they give you a sample so you can see how your skin reacts to it before you invest in the whole thing? So I totally feel that. I saw a lot of mentions of time, and I think it'd be really hard to carve out time. One of the wonderful things about rituals, at least that I've found, is that for me, they in a way can become a non-negotiable. So I am going to take a wild guess and assume that most people brush their teeth in the morning, and it's not something that you think about. It's just something that you do. So in a way, the ritual can become, and it's actually very hard for humans to make choices and decisions. And so having these things built in that you don't think about and pairing it with something that you already do is a great way to build a habit. We often talk about building a meditation habit, meditation practice by pairing it with something else that you're already doing. So you just stack them on top of each other. And even though you miss a day, that's fine. It obviously happens. But my advice is always to recommend trying not to miss more than one day at a time. So try not to miss 2 days in a row. And I don't know, maybe that helps. But rituals have become non-negotiables for me, even if I'm tired. Just do it.
Love that. I love that.
I think one of like the struggles for me, I guess, was like trying to find what product works for me, because something that may work for somebody else may not work for my skin. Like I may get like a reaction from it. When someone may be using 3 products, I need like 6 products, And so also figuring out like the order of the products. I feel like some people use like, SPF before their moisturizer, or like their vitamin C, there's just so many different ways. And so getting the education from someone in like the industry would be like a great help for, people out there trying to figure out the ritual.
Yeah. One thing that I just wanted to say to that is something like sort of like a downward spiral that the beauty industry feeds into, is like, you need more products. You need like all of these different things to have beautiful skin, and that's not true. Like it really is not. Like you don't need like 15-step routine to like get a skincare product. And also just the fact that you need to care about like the order of your products and all these different things, it's just so complex when it should be really simple. And that's what I think the reason why we created our products is that it's all natural. Like it's good for all skin types. It's good for year round. It's made with natural and clean ingredients that don't like irritate your skin. Like it's not made in a lab, it was made in the kitchen. So I think that's what's beautiful about things that we're trying to create, is because we're trying to disrupt that perception that beauty has sort of built. I'd love to go through some of the responses that people have written just really quickly. One of them, the struggles that some of you have faced, is like confidence without makeup, but work from home has helped you embrace it, which I think is incredible. I think that we all should feel more confident just with our bare skin, because it's beautiful. And I guess like worried about not doing beauty right. I feel that. Too many choices. Yeah, just a lot of different resources. Rita, was there anything else that you saw in the chat that you wanted to?
I think we touched on a lot of it. I appreciate all the responses coming through the chat, and I'm sure these are all topics that we can touch on in little like micro segments later on as well. And
I can't wait to read them later. All right, so we're going to dive into the second section, and I'm going to be asking Rita, what does mindfulness mean to you?
Oh yes, the big $1 million question. So I first would like to just clear out the misconception that mindfulness or meditation means emptying your mind. I've heard many people who are new to the practice say something along the lines of like, I just can't meditate, like my mind just won't be quiet, I can't clear my head. And so that is all par for the course. It's to be expected. Asking your mind to stop thinking is like asking the ocean to stop having waves, right? It is literally what the mind is designed to do. So I think the easiest way to describe what mindfulness means, or the easiest way to think about this, is that mindfulness is simply paying attention to what it is that you're doing. That's the easiest place to start. You can certainly move beyond that. And I think it's a door that is going to open, and you'll find lots of things in that Pandora's box. But beyond that, being mindful, I think, includes a healthy amount of observation. So active listening, as opposed to listening for the purpose of responding, or listening and holding your response in your head while you're not really paying attention to the rest of what the other person is saying. And then really really being considerate about the actions that you take as a result of whatever it is that's happened. I think this all really pairs well with a sense of openness and willingness to still participate and move through things with this awareness, with this attention, even when you don't know the outcome, even when it feels pointless, even when you feel tired, and inviting this approach of like, let's see what happens. I'm just gonna try it, and I'm gonna pay attention to what's happening while I'm doing it. Ankita, what do you think? What is mindfulness to you? Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Alexandria, who said that she likes me. We can be friends.
Love that.
I want to be friends with this year. I'm gonna flip it to you.
Mindfulness to me just means being like intentional about every single thing that you're doing and how you're like interacting with yourself and how you're interacting with other people. I think that to me is being mindful, and just sort of thinking about things versus just doing them passively. And just the concept of mindfulness and meditation and like incorporating it into my life, it's just drastically changed my productivity levels, my happiness levels, and just, generally like how my skin looks too. So I think that just having those minutes that I take from my day to just stop and reflect and just sort of let my body sit is so powerful. And I think a lot of people haven't tapped into it yet because we don't think we have the time, but you control your time. So it really just comes down to, is it a priority for you or not? But Rita, I'd love to know some of the struggles, and we'd also love to hear in the chat the struggles that you face with meditation and mindfulness in general. But Rita, I'd love to hear from you.
Let's open it. This always happens. There's like some sort of sound delay. We talk over each other and then we sort it out. Let's definitely open it to the chat. And Ankita, the point that you made about us controlling our time, one of my teachers always says, sometimes people think life is really unfair. Sometimes we all think life is unfair and like X, Y, and Z person has it better than me, at this particular moment in time. And what she always says is everyone gets 24 hours in a day. That is like the ultimate fairness, right? Time is like probably the most valuable currency that we have. So I wanted to add that. I think one of the pieces that has come out most often in terms of struggling to maintain these mindful practices, a meditation practice, or even just like a relatively attuned headspace, is dealing with daily stressors, dealing with anxiety. Let's see what is coming through the chat. Riding emotional roller coasters, the to-do list popping up. Yeah, these are all amazing. Meditating just for the sake of checking the box and not breaking your meditation streak. Definitely. And so I just want to sort of put the idea out there, and Ankita and I had this sort of like light bulb moment that like mindfulness does not necessarily equal happiness. Like realizing that you're dealing with anxiety, realizing that you're having some emotional wave, participating in that emotional wave, like that is the mindful experience. Like, welcome to life. We are here. Some of us are having the time of our lives right now. Some of us are having the worst times of our lives right now, and both of those things will change. And so the gift is really participating in all of it, even in the times that it just like sucks and is so awful. And like words can't actually describe how awful it is. Like some of these really momentous occasions that unfortunately are not rainbows and butterflies, but that allow us to appreciate the rainbows and butterflies. I want to get to all of these, but I know that we have to transition over into the mask and meditate. But I think noticing that you're dealing with these things and then actually dealing with it, as opposed to distracting, as opposed to suppressing and repressing, that's it. You're doing it. Like, woohoo. Like grab your confetti popper. That's the whole thing. We can chat more about this. And I totally hear you, Noelle, about doing it in the morning to start out the day, that's when I meditate, because if I don't get it in then, when my time is protected, it's not going to happen. Okay, we're going to move into the mask and meditate, so that way we can be mindful of everyone's time.
I like that. I like that. I'm really excited to go through this this whole experience with you. So before we do that, I'm going to need you all to take out the masks that you got in your box, and then you also got a cleansing wipe. So if you just want to take a second to grab those things, I just would love for you to actually take the mask out of the box so you have it. It's going to be this cute little glass jar.
I'm a sucker for this blue branding. Like, this is what reeled me in, to be honest.
I love it. I love it. Well, this is just like a travel size version of it. I would love for you all to try the rest of our products as well. We've actually included a $15 gift card for you all to like experience any of the products that you want. I would definitely encourage you all to follow us on Instagram as well, to follow along on our journey. Yeah, because I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more of these. I know there were a lot of questions that we didn't get to sort of touch on and like answer, and I really want to. So maybe we'll figure out if there's like a part 2 or something. All right, I'm gonna hand it off to Rita, but I just wanted to caveat how we formulated this mask is that it's not your typical 20-minute mask that takes 20 minutes to harden. We've really formulated this for a modern consumer where we don't have a lot of time. So we took that into consideration. And so this is a 5-minute mask. So once you put it on, it takes 5 minutes to harden, and then you're going to want to wash it off. So we have 10 minutes left in the event. So we're sort of, so Rita's going to guide you through putting or taking off your makeup, which I see all of you doing already. And then we're going to put on the mask. And then once we go through the meditation, we'll do a little bit of a closing really quickly, and then we'll all have you go wash off the masks offline. All right, so I'm going to pass it on to Rita now.
Great, thank you. I see many of us have gotten started, so I'm going to ask you to pause where you are and reframe or reapproach this experience, instead of being like, oh, I take off my makeup every day and I'm going to do the same thing that I always do, that we're just going to really slow everything down. Drink the Kool-Aid, go with it, participate. So that way, when you decide to do this on your own, it's imprinted in you in a way that's like a little bit stronger. So we're gonna do the more concentrated version now. So slow down. If you start taking off your makeup, just pause. So first thing, we did this last time, and I think many of us very habitually, for those of us with longer hair, put our hair up without really thinking about it. So go slow and move your hair out of your face, first thing, if it is in your face, and notice the way your fingers run through your hair. Notice the texture of your hair, the thickness, if it's coarse, how it's feeling. Do we need to do a hair mask this weekend? Just like, how are things? Cute clips, Ankita, all the Aavrani swag. And then grab your makeup wipe, and even if you started before, again, go slow. And notice the pressure in which your fingers make contact with the wipe and then make contact with your skin. Notice the bones of your face. Notice the texture of the wipe on the skin and the temperature. What direction or motion do you take as you do this? Do you follow the same path that you always follow? Is there a path? What's it like? How do we do it? How do we do the things that we always do? Maybe you hear a sound that the wipe makes as it brushes along your skin. And then once you've gotten all of your makeup off, you can place that off to the side. Go ahead and grab your beautifully packaged Aavrani mask. And before you do anything, we haven't done anything. We're just holding the mask. So I know it's really tempting to want to just like rush ahead and move forward, but just hold the packaging for a moment. Like, It's so interesting. Every time we do this, we notice more and more. And it's like someone designed this beautiful packaging and chose the font and the spacing, and the feel that it has in your hand. And so by slowing down, you now get to appreciate this craft and this art that somebody else has made. So again, go real slow, open the mask, just take the lid off, listen to the sound. And I think there's like this white tab on top, so you can remove that as well. And before you do anything, just actually look at the color and the texture of what's inside the jar. And notice the speckles, notice the shade of sort of like beige yellow. You can notice the smell of it. It's really nice for like, usually turmeric and neem don't smell this nice, so kudos to the Aavrani team. And begin to place your fingers into the jar and really notice the texture as you start to get some of the mask onto your fingers. You can use 1 or 2. Just get enough there. But notice like how much pressure do you have to apply in order to get the amount that you need, you know? You can place the jar down and in some upward sweeping direction, because that's what skincare routines tell us to do. You can use your camera, begin to apply the mask, maybe starting at the chin and moving like along the jawline. And notice, like what's the temperature of the mask as you place it on your skin? For me, it feels really cooling. I can feel like I don't know what the little beads or the exfoliating pieces are. And so if there's anything that you take away from this, just slow it down. Slow it down, see what's happening, and hone into all of the senses, especially the non-visual ones, since we get a lot of information visually. Make sure you get all the corners. Feels really cold on my forehead. Does the temperature feel different on different parts of your skin?
You typically suggest doing it with your fingers or also use a brush as well?
So for this, we'd love for you to do it with your fingers because you actually connect with the product more and you can actually connect with your skin and like really like move in circular motions and like just have the product work better.
Yeah, and I think there's something really beautiful about physical touch as well, you know, especially in this remote sort of digital world that we're living in. It can be a nice thematic, tangible experience. So once you've got the mask well applied, you can wipe your hands off on the wipe that you just used, or if you have a small towel nearby. And while the mask hardens, we'll move through a brief little mini meditation.
One thing,
you haven't already.
As you're wiping off your hands, we are doing a giveaway. Gina, do you want to talk about that really quick?
I sure do. If you take a selfie of yourself in the mask and email it to me, I'll put my email address in the chat again. It's Gina at aSweatLife. It's spelled funny, my first name.com. You'll be entered for a chance to win the full suite of products that you see behind Ankita. And we will also post your beautiful selfie on our Instagram, which I think is a prize too.
Okay. Fun. Thank you. If everyone has their mask on, once you've settled everything down around you, we'll move to a brief meditation now. So whether you're sitting on the ground, a couch, a bed, just find a seat that allows your spine to be long and that you can sustain. You can place your hands somewhere on the thighs or somewhere on the knees, so that way the lower body and the upper body make contact. And then whenever you feel ready, you can just allow your gaze to descend down for the ground. Soften your vision so the edges begin to blur. Invite a real watery quality to your eyes. And maybe the eyelids gently flutter closed at any point. Take this moment to really actually arrive. To notice the space that your body occupies. To really see how the body resides in space. To see how the mind resides in time. And bring both of them to right now. If you've had a long day, a long week, a long year, a long couple of years, just place it to the side and be in this moment, in this experience for even just this brief amount of time. You can begin to notice the sensation that the mask has on your skin. Does it feel cool or warm? Different places? Is there any sort of like tingling sensation? Maybe you feel the pores getting a little bit tighter. Maybe you can still notice the smell as it lands in your nose. Just take a deep breath in through your nose. Out the mouth, you can let it go. Breathe in through your nose. Long sigh out the mouth. Last one like that. Breathe in through the nose. Let it go out the mouth. Feel the look. And let your breath return back to its usual cadence. The body resides in space. The mind resides in time. Bring them both to now. Breathe in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the lips sealed. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 4 and trace a line up the back of the body, all the way to the crown of the head. And then exhale for 6 as you watch the breath just descend down in front of you, tracing the line of the torso. Breathe in, breath rises up the back line of the body, all the way up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, watch the breath descend in front of you, super fluid, so smooth. You can take one more breath cycle like that, using your imagination to trace the line of the breath up the back line of the body, rising all the way up over the crown of your head. Exhale, and the breath just descends down in front of you like cool rain falling from above. Release the cycle and just stay with the moment. Noticing the breath, noticing the sensation, bringing body and mind to right now. You can begin to breathe a little bit deeper. Keeping the eyes closed, just perceive the space of the room that you're in. The eyes are sealed really tightly. Still keep them closed, but just soften the seal. And if it's meaningful to you, you can bring your hands, palms pressed together at the center of the chest. Draw your chin down toward your sternum. And just take a moment. Use this as a gesture of gratitude for taking this momentary time out, however brief it may have been, for your own personal ritual. Whenever you feel ready, keeping your gaze downward, the eyelids can just flutter open. And at any point, you can lift your gaze. No rush. How's that for a little multitasking action? How do we do? Amazing. Well, okay, before we, we're going to close in just a second. I just want to ask this question. I love if everyone puts it in the chat. I'm going to ask you, and you can also ask yourself, how do you feel? And you can use an emoji, you can use a word, you can use a color. And the purpose of asking this question is just to notice the impact of, I think we spent 7 minutes together from start to finish. Amazing. I'm so glad to see all of these responses. So we all have 24 hours in a day. As Ankita said, we all control our time, and we get to write the story. I think, Ankita, is there anything else you want to say? I will add that in order to remove the mask, once we officially end the Zoom call, and I do apologize, we ran over a few minutes, just use warm water and gentle circular motion. I really like to jump in the shower right after this. It's a nice way to really wind down the evening, and the water's running everywhere, so you don't have to worry about making mess on your countertop. That's one approach. I just want to again say thank you. Again, my name is Rita, the head of mindfulness and strategy with Aduri. Find us, follow us on all the places at Aduri, ADURI.co. And we'll see you all very soon, I hope. But I know Ankita has some things to say.
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you so much. I had so much fun. I'm having some trouble speaking while my mask is really hard. So usually you're not supposed to leave it on for this long. So I just want to caveat this. We're obviously speaking and doing a practice. So the mask hardens between like 3 to 4 minutes. So that's how long that you should like replicate this. But I just wanted to say thank you again. To make sure to send your selfies to Gina. We've also incorporated our gift card if you want to try some more of our products. And just stay, we'd love for you to follow us on Instagram so that you could stay tuned with all the new things that are coming up. But I'd love to say thank you to the aSweatLife team for having us. It means so much to us that you had us. And so I just want to say thank you and have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you, Rita and Ankita, for being involved with
Thank you so much.
Thank you, friends. We're going to hit
Thank you.
and we will see you tomorrow for more. Here's my smile.